Welcome to another nature time. It is November now, and it is a special time in nature. It starts to get quite cold, and the gales of November bring in some very harsh weather. The daylight is disappearing, and the nights are everlasting. Oftentimes, I stare outside my window and think, "Eck, I don't want to go outside in these dull, cold weather." But let me tell you, it's good for your mental health, and there is still lots to see and enjoy outside in this month of November. So come, join me. So the songbirds have migrated south, but we're not out of the luck. We still have the birds that were up north. They're now coming down here to winter. I'm looking forward to seeing the right-throated sparrow singing sweetly, the playful dark-eyed juncos, and the American tree sparrow that will be in the grassland and prairies most of the winter, feasting. I'm looking forward to the return of the snow hours. I have yet to be able to distinguish and actually see one in nature, but I've probably had one in my presence. They are quite common. One of the best ways to see them is usually in farm fields, and they don't really like trees because there's no trees up north. So they are usually like fence posts or something else, or even telephone poles you'll see them on. The bald eagles start to gather along our riverbanks where they will hunt for the winter, since the water usually does not freeze. And I remember paddling down the Thames last year in late October and just seeing tons. I think I saw about 18 bald eagles in less than 2 hours. The tundra swans are making their way through as well. They will be coming through here in November and then coming back around in March, I believe. So usually they'll be traveling at night right now. So if you are outside, maybe having a nice bonfire in November, you'll hear them travel overhead. But they also, I know here at Rondo, they might be on the bay, usually at nights, but they're a nice treat, a great big bird. And yeah, these huge birds actually might stay in our marshes until the ice starts setting in. So keep an eye out for them. I know there's a nice place near, there's a wildlife sanctuary near Elmer that they usually hang out in. On some of these warm days we may get this November, you might see frogs jumping to and from, as well as you may see the sulfur butterflies still hanging around and the mourning cloaks. This brings us to the woolly bear caterpillar. You may see one of these running across the ground, I guess very slowly. Usually I often see them on the bike trail and I try to avoid hitting them. This caterpillar has often been used to predict how harsh the winter is going to be. The longer the black bands are, usually means we're going to have a colder and snowier winter. The position of the band, let's say if the tail has a longer band than the head, usually means that the end of winter is going to be harsh. But if the head is worse, it means the beginning of winter is going to be worse. And then if it has a large orange spot in the middle, it means we're going to get a very mild winter. Go out and see for yourself how harsh this winter is going to be by finding yourself a woolly caterpillar to inspect. Another thing that will become more obvious this November is, since all the leaves have fallen to the ground, you'll be able to spot squirrels' nests in the trees a lot more easily. It is deer season, it's rutting season, so hunters will be out, so I suggest wearing orange. So look out for rubbing marks on the trees that would indicate that deer have been by. And also, if you get to see, they usually do a little spread in the soil. That lets you know that they've been there. Keep in mind though, before you go out on your favorite trail, maybe double check, because I know some trails are closed right now, such as some on the Grand Valley Trail, and I know the Great Canadian Trail near Tirakanal, however you pronounce that, is also closed due to it being private land and they want to be hunting at this time of year. If you are fortunate enough to find a turtle at this time of year, it's kind of amusing. I just paddled by one the other day on the Grand, and it was the early morning, so there's still some mist coming off of the water, and it was just sitting on top of a log. And because they're reptiles, right? So they're cold-blooded. They need the warmth of the sun to be able to move and everything else. And usually all summer long, a turtle hears me coming by in my canoe, dives right into the water. But now they're being a little more selective if they can even move at all. And that turtle was not moving. It was just staying on top of the log. Poor little guy, but they're a little slow at this time of year. Also, you might see snakes still basking out on the trails and the road, trying to get that heat so they can get more movement. Wait a minute, what am I doing? Now is a great time to talk about the importance of not raking your leaves this fall. Lots of critters will be making their winter home. Invertebrates and everything will make their winter home in the leaves, and that's how they protect themselves and overwinter. So if we rake all the leaves, we're getting rid of all the invertebrates. And you might think, well, I don't like invertebrates. I don't like things like insects and slimy things. But you know what? The birds do, and we all love the birds. And bird populations have been on the decline, and one of the reasons is the lack of food. So we need to keep the leaf litter on the ground until about May, and then you can rake up your leaves and it won't kill your lawn, and we'll have more birds. As for the night sky, I just love the winter sky, and I was out, especially because we got longer nights right now. I was out the other day at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and the sky was just beautiful. The stars just seem crisper in the colder air, and so right now is a great time to see Jupiter. I believe it's at its opposition right now, and it's visible all night long. So you don't have to worry about missing it. And you can also look for meteors, more so around November 18th. There'll be about 10 meteors per an hour in the Leonards, in the Leo the Lion constellation. So you're going to be looking east at 4 a.m. or whenever, but also Jupiter is over at the east too, so that's a good way to point your attention this fall. It is a great time to look for late fall mushrooms right now, especially your shelf mushrooms, your shelf fungus, such as your birch polypore, your artist shelf, your turkey tails. And here is some fungus we found out on our walk around Rondo. And some other fungus. And that's it for this month's show. I hope you get out and get to enjoy November. Let me know what you see. Let me know what I missed maybe. And I hope to see you come back around for December. Enjoy, everyone.